Ever wondered why some people seem to attract wealth effortlessly while others struggle for years? It's not just luck, it's habits. In today's video, I'm sharing the real-life story of how one man transformed his financial destiny by adopting the same 7 habits used by the wealthy, and how you can too. If you're ready to take control of your money, hit that like button, subscribe for more inspiring financial stories, and let's dive in. When Marcus turned 29, he found himself in the same spot he'd been for the past 5 years, stuck. His job paid just enough to keep the lights on. His savings account rarely crossed 3 digits, and the idea of building wealth felt like a fantasy reserved for people born into it. But that all changed when he stumbled upon a single phrase in a podcast that would alter his life. The rich don't wait for money. They make money work for them, starting with habits, not income. Marcus leaned in. That sentence sparked a hunger he hadn't felt in years. That night, he stayed up researching, watching interviews, and taking notes. He realized that success didn't begin with a huge paycheck or a business idea. It began with mindset and discipline. And so began his journey, not toward millions at first, but toward building the habits of the wealthy. It started with a simple but powerful rule: pay yourself first. Instead of waiting to see what was left at the end of the month, Marcus flipped his entire budget on its head. From every paycheck, before paying rent, before buying groceries, he set aside 10%. He opened a high-yield savings account and automated the transfer the moment his paycheck dropped. Was it easy? Not at first. It meant skipping takeout, learning to cook, and saying no to a few hangouts. But within 6 months, Marcus had $2,400 saved. For the first time in his life, he wasn't living paycheck to paycheck. He had a safety net, a feeling of control. That habit, it became his foundation, and it taught him something no book ever could. Discipline builds freedom. Habit number 2, they track every dollar. Before he ever saw his first 6 figures, Marcus had a habit that confused his friends. Every Sunday evening, while others were winding down with Netflix or brunch plans, Marcus would sit at his kitchen table, an old oak slab he'd had since college, with nothing but a notebook, a calculator, and his laptop. He called it his money meeting. To outsiders, it seemed obsessive. But Marcus knew something they didn't. Wealth doesn't grow in the dark. Each week, he reviewed what he spent, where it went, and what it meant. He logged every dollar, from the $1.75 coffee he bought out of habit to the auto-renewal subscriptions he'd forgotten were even charging him. At first, it was uncomfortable. The numbers told a story, and sometimes that story wasn't pretty. But over time, something changed. He spotted leaks in his budget and used gym memberships, impulsive Amazon buys, and weekend splurges that added up fast. He canceled what he didn't need, made room for what mattered, and reinvested the difference. That discipline alone freed up over $300 a month. And Marcus didn't let that money sit idle. He funneled it into his investment account, giving it a job, growing his future. This habit, this relentless tracking, became his secret weapon. It wasn't glamorous. There were no viral TikToks about spreadsheets and category breakdowns. But Marcus understood what few people do. You can't manage what you don't measure. And in a world where most people only check their bank accounts when they're close to overdrafting, Marcus was 10 steps ahead. Habit number 3, they avoid lifestyle creep. By the time Marcus got his first big promotion, a leap from $52,000 a year to $85,000, his friends expected a change. A new car. Time to move into that luxury apartment downtown. Finally gonna ditch the budget. But Marcus didn't flinch. Instead of upgrading his lifestyle, he upgraded his goals. He stayed in the same modest 1-bedroom apartment, drove his well-maintained 2013 sedan, and continued bringing lunch from home. To many, it looked like he wasn't rewarding himself. But Marcus understood a fundamental truth of the wealthy. Just because you make more doesn't mean you have to spend more. He knew that most people, when they earn more, spend more, a phenomenon known as lifestyle inflation. The raises vanish. The new salary still feels like not enough. And the savings? Non-existent. But Marcus had a different formula. Save the raise. Live like nothing changed. That single decision, resisting the pressure to level up, just because his income was what accelerated his wealth faster than any stock or side hustle could. Within 1 year of his raise, Marcus had banked an additional $20,000. Not spent, not splurged, banked. That money became the seed for a real estate deal. A small duplex he house-hacked, living in one unit and renting out the other. Wealthy people know, you don't build freedom by looking rich. You build it by staying grounded while your income grows. Habit number 4. They invest consistently, not emotionally. By now, Marcus had learned how to save diligently and live beneath his means. But he also knew that saving alone wouldn't make him wealthy. He needed to invest, but not like the guys on Reddit chasing meme stocks. Not like his coworkers who panicked every time the market dipped. Marcus took a page from the playbook of the truly wealthy. They invest consistently, no matter the headlines, no matter the fear. When a market dipped in 2020, many froze. Marcus? He saw it as a sale. When others said, maybe we should wait, Marcus said, I'll keep buying. He automated his investments, setting up regular contributions to a diversified portfolio of index funds. Whether the market was up or down, money went in. No emotional reactions. Just steady, boring, powerful compounding. It wasn't glamorous. There were no viral gains. No, I just made $10,000 overnight screenshots. But after 3 years of investing consistently, Marcus watched his portfolio grow beyond $100,000. Quietly, steadily, powerfully. Because here's the truth. Wealth isn't built by timing the market. It's built by time eyeing the market. And Marcus had all the patience in the world. Habit number 5. They surround themselves with like-minded people. Success can be contagious, but so can complacency. Early in his journey, Marcus realized something uncomfortable. While he was dreaming about financial freedom, most of his friends were dreaming about payday splurges, new sneakers, and the next expensive getaway. The conversations were fun, but they weren't feeding his goals. So, he started seeking out different rooms. He joined local investing meetups, subscribed to financial YouTube channels, followed wealth-building communities online, and slowly, he built a new circle, a tribe of people who talked about assets, not liabilities. He didn't ditch his old friends, but he made sure his closest influences reflected his future, not his past. One night, over coffee with his new mentor, a quiet millionaire who made his fortune in real estate, Marcus heard something that stuck. Your net worth will almost always reflect your network. That one line changed everything. He started asking better questions. He got better advice. He was challenged more. And best of all, he was never the smartest person in the room anymore. Because the wealthy, they understand that environment is everything. Habit number 6. They never stop learning. By the time Marcus hit his first $100,000 in investments, he could have slowed down. He could have coasted. But if there was one habit he'd seen every wealthy person share, it was a relentless appetite for learning. Marcus turned his car into a university on wheels. Every drive became a podcast session. Every lunch break, a new article or finance book chapter. Every weekend, a YouTube deep dive into stocks, taxes, or side hustles. He wasn't just learning passively. He was applying. He didn't wait to be an expert to take action. He learned just enough to take the next smart step, then kept building. One of his favorite quotes came from Warren Buffett. The more you learn, the more you earn. And it wasn't just financial education. He studied communication, negotiation, time management, and even psychology. Because true wealth, he realized, isn't just about money. It's about mastering yourself and staying a student of life. Habit number 7. They give before they get. As Marcus climbed the ladder of financial success, something unexpected happened. He became more generous, not just with money, but with time, knowledge, and encouragement. He volunteered once a month to speak at local high schools about financial literacy. He mentored a few younger guys who reminded him of himself at 25, overwhelmed, broke, but full of potential. And when his cousin needed $1,500 to start a small online business, Marcus didn't hesitate. He gave without expecting it back, because he had learned a powerful truth. Wealth multiplies when you share it. The wealthy people Marcus admired the most weren't the flashiest. They were the ones quietly funding scholarships, teaching others to build, and planting seeds they might never see grow. Giving didn't make Marcus poorer. It gave him purpose, and it reminded him that every dollar earned could be a tool, not just for freedom, but for impact. Marcus sat on his balcony one quiet morning, sipping coffee and watching the sunrise over the city. It had been nearly a decade since he made the decision to change his life, to stop surviving and start building. And when he reflected on his journey, the path became clear. Wealth isn't just about numbers. It's a mindset, a system, a way of living. He hadn't won the lottery. He didn't come from privilege. He had no magic shortcut, but he had habits. Disciplined, intentional, powerful habits. Let's recap the 7 habits that changed his life. They track their money religiously. You can't master what you don't measure. They live below their means. Frugality is a form of freedom. They invest early and often. Compound interest doesn't wait. They surround themselves with growth-minded people. Environment shapes trajectory. They never stop learning. Financial literacy is a lifelong pursuit. They think long-term. Real wealth takes patience. They give before they get. Purpose fuels prosperity. These weren't flashy. They weren't complicated, but they worked. Marcus wasn't just financially free. He was confident, focused, and deeply fulfilled. And now, it's your turn. Which of these 7 habits are you already practicing? And which one do you need to start today? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this story lit a fire in you, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we've got more real stories and real strategies coming your way. Remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin.